Hey, DM Dango here with another review from the DM's Guild. This time we're looking at Goblin Hideout. Goblins are always hiding. I wonder if they're just shy. So, Goblin Hideout. Goblin Hideout is an adventure module designed for 4 to 5 players of levels either 1, 3, or 6. It has the battle maps to, or battle configurations to work out which ones you need to have. Now I'm doing something a little different in my reviews. I'm trying to kind of standardize the system with which I give the ratings out. So I'm going to be using a system that I've developed called Perk, where I take the exploration, so the 3 pillars, exploration, roleplay, and combat, and add in a 4th one I call polish, which is kind of like everything like maps or, formatting, structure, and all that kind of stuff rolled into a single category. Kind of take that and give them a unique value for each one based on a scale that I've kind of developed so that I can figure out kind of where these things lie. So with that explained, moving right along to the adventure. The Goblin Hideout is a kind of a standard D&D trope that's been kind of presented here. Essentially, you have a set of tasks to complete. The first of which is you must find. You kind of have three basic scenes, as it were, and I think they're described as that. The first one is a wilderness challenge. Players have to follow tracks in the forest until they find the encampment. Second is to deal with the encampment. In some way, shape, or form, deal with the guards that are there, or save the prisoners, or kind of whatever. And then the third one is to deal with the unexpected arrival at the camp of whoever is going to be coming back for the Thanksgiving. It's a rather standard adventure type, and a very standard adventure trope. You come across a turned over caravan, or you're tasked by a noble to go track down some troublesome goblins that are causing some trouble, causing some issues in the area, and you as an adventuring party deal with them. Now, moving right along, because that gives you a basic framework of how the adventure pans out in terms of everything included inside of it. In terms of the things that I like about this adventure, so I like the idea. There's an idea presented early on in terms of with one of the survival checks is, well, rather than having which you get with a lot of parties as they go, one person will say, oh, I roll perception to have a look around this, and then of course everyone else follows in, and there are guides on how to deal with this. This one deals with it rather interestingly. Have everyone roll and then take the average. Now, there are some really good advantages to doing this kind of method, and I could go into a whole video on this, and there's some really interesting things, but the ones that I want to bring out specifically is, one, it means that if a single player who is really good at the skill rolls well, they will rolls by themselves, they will probably do better than the entire party rolling. So it kind of incentivizes parties to focus down a specific set of skills and tasks, and that means it should make the games run smoother as a result of that. So I like that idea that was presented here. It's probably not, I don't know if it's an original idea, because as you see, I haven't explored the vast sea of adventure modules and everything else that's out there, but it is a really good one, and I like to see it included here. Another thing I liked was there are multiple avenues to attack or resolve conflicts within each of the encounters presented. It was nice to see that it's not just, you must kill these things. No, it's all, you could kill them, you could sneak by them, you could do this, you could just bypass them completely. All of these kinds of things are presented in a way that allows you to kind of explore every single avenue of that thing. The level splits in terms of scaling the various adventures to the various levels that are possible within are very easy. There's a nice table for each combat encounter saying, well, if your party is this level, use these. If your party is this level, use these. And if your party is this level, use these ones. And I'll try to link one of the tables up in the corner to give you an example of what I mean. It was just a really nice little touch, because I've seen it done in other adventure modules where they don't include a table. They say, well, if you have a party that is lower than this, add X monster. If you have a party that higher than this, add these monsters. This was a nice, quick way of saying, well, my party is this level, what do I need? Oh, those ones, okay. Obviously, you should always do setup beforehand, but if you were trying to run this very quickly, say you had like last minute, oh, I've got a D&D game now, Okay, really good way of handling that kind of thing. Now moving on to some of the things I didn't like. It would have been nice to have the map that is included inside the module be done separately, or as part of a separate PDF or a separate image file, so that I could just go, well, I really want to have this. This map is included in, say, Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or whatever you use, or even if I just want to print it out, it might have been nice to have that as a separate file, just so that it would be easier to do. The other thing that I think that was kind of lacking was there's a lack of character descriptions in general. There's not a lot of information about any of the people within the adventure module themselves. It kind of doesn't give you a lot of information in terms of why the boss is there, or why these people are captured. And I understand some of that is so that the DM can kind of fill those gaps and slot it into whatever adventure you have. But it'd been nice to have an option to have, well, these are these things, these are their motivations, this is what they're liking, that kind of fleshing out of a character, so you have more of a background to build on, especially during heavy role. On to my rating. So using the perk system. So for C, combat, I think it's a 5. All the combats are really balanced really well. They're really fun and engaging. There's not anything too wildish or outlandish, but then it is designed for parties from 1, 3, and 6. You shouldn't expect to see crazy combat scenarios where environment or everything else has a huge factor at those levels, because players are just starting out and just starting to kind of trying to get the grips of their characters and how they function in combat. That kind of stuff is reserved for later levels, or maybe in the 6 ranges where you start to see those kinds of combat encounters. Now, in terms of the roleplay, like I said, because we're lacking things like good character descriptions or good character motivations for most of the characters and NPCs. The opportunities are there, but a lot of that work comes down to the DM to kind of fill in and make so that it gives a lot of extra work for the DM to make those kinds of roleplay sessions memorable and enjoyable for their players. So that one is going to be a 3 for me. Exploration, this is a very single-pathed adventure. It's a very railroaded kind of thing, where you're going down one path and there's only one real route to take. However, there are different paths. Once you come to a node, a scene that is, you can resolve those scenes in different ways. So for that respect, I think it's deserving of a 4. You do have some choice, but there's not a complete branching or a real exploration side of it. So probably a 3 or 4, maybe 3.5 for that one. For the last one, for the P, the perk, it's nice to see things like there were almost no grammatical errors. The formatting was very good. Not something that I'd seen in terms of the structure is different from what I've seen from things that are Fish from Wizards of the Coast, which is fine as long as the formatting is clear and well understood as to what you're saying. So it was nice to see things like when you were talking about, this is the DM says, here's the description. Nice to see those in a box. Anything that's like referenced in other areas is bold, and kind of you say, this is a tool, this is understandable. The map was there. It was really nice, and it was nice to have a map. It didn't. Always nice to see. The thing that I would say is that in terms of the formatting, like I said, having the map separate from the file is a very big bonus for me. And it would have helped a lot. So for the P, I'm going to give it a 4. Now, in terms of what the overall rating, what I'll give it on DM's Guild, that rounds out to about 3.8. So I'll give it a 3.5. So in DM's Guild, I'll probably be rating this a 4 out of 5, because I tend to review higher, just because I don't think it's fair for the guys who deserved 3s to end up getting a 4, and I also don't think it's the guys who deserve 3.5 to get a 3, because that looks really, in terms of the way the rating systems work. Hey DM's Guild, give me a 10-star rating system, please. Anyways, thank you for your time. Please like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Helps me out a lot, helps me know that what I'm doing might be helpful. I am trying to get a new mic. I realize that this is a bit tinny. Do use the links for my DM's Guild affiliate code in the description below. That also helps me out, and thank you. Peace out.